Namaste. Today's topic about fertility tools, right? So these are the tools which will help us to measure how we are on our journey to fertility. Are we on good track or not? Or where are the areas for us to improve, right? We will start qualitatively and quantitatively try to understand it. First one is menstrual cycle for females. Okay, what are the parameters? First of all, is it regular? Means, do we get monthly cycle after 28 to 32 days? You know, is that regular? And every month we get in the around same time frame. Then second one is length. What is the menstrual cycle length? Whether it's only 1 day's flow or it's a 5 days flow. Its average is 5 days. But so what is your length? That you need to note it down. And how is the flow? Is it good, low, very low, or medium, or very high, right? A lot of people that they come to me, they come with say that their period is very heavy bleeding, right? That is what I commonly hear. And that's quantity what we talk. And also color, whether it's red, brown, what kind of the color it is. When it is brownish, that means it's definitely not good. If it's red, which is good, depending on the color, that also tells you what kind of deficiency you have. And of course, the symptoms, right? Whether do you feel bloated, do you feel pain, do you feel okay? All that also needs to be noted it down. So let's understand. No, usually it should be 28 to 30 days regular, right? And bleeding should be around 5 days approximately. That's regular. But if you get an early period, right, before 28 days, let's say before 25 days also, that means there is a heat in the blood and there is a deficiency in the chi. Okay. Late period, there's a kidney and blood deficiency and there's a stagnation in the cold energy. Okay, that means you definitely need more heat energy to push away that cold. When it is absent, that means your chi and blood deficient. You need more energy. Your kidney is very weak. Maybe there is some dampness, and that's when actually you get a lot of PCOS cases, right? And if you're bleeding during the mid-cycle, around 14 days, right, during their ovulations, so that means there is a damp heat, right? There's a heat is stagnant there. And there is a kidney yin deficiency, okay? Kidney yin deficiency, which is not a good sign. And there is stagnation in the blood. So even if you're ovulating, but if there is a kidney yin deficiency, your conception journey will not be successful, many of the cases, okay? And if it's random, sometimes comes early, sometimes comes late, sometimes 3 days, sometimes, 8 days, that means there is an issue with both liver and kidney. And what kind of hormonal changes that we go through? Hormone by itself is another session, big session, because, we are human beings, our performance, many things are driven by the hormone. Okay. So how does it start? The first cycles, right? If you look at it around after 7 to 8 days, the estrogen will start. And, the follicles, etc., they will start growing. Around 14 days, just before that, your progesterone, right, actually will slowly increase because that is what is needed for your pregnancy. So your FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, will be peak just before the ovulation. And your luteinizing hormone, right, that is also be peak just before the ovulation. So if somebody is monitoring those hormones, everybody do not measure, through a blood test in every cycle, but this is how it looks like. But let me tell you, many of the times the people who come through, their progesterone and estrogens are not balanced. And because they are highly stressed out, through your HPA excess, right? I will talk about the hypothalamus gland, etc. Your FSH and LH is actually screwed up because your stress hormone is predominantly, your cortisol is affecting those parameters through your hypothalamus gland. Okay, so these hormones, they have to follow a certain rhythm, certain days of your cycle. They have to be a peak one hormone, and it has specific functions that needs to be done, right? For many of the cases, what I do eventually, as soon as first in the beginning, as soon as they come, I ask them to get into the seed cycle, because the seed cycle helps with your estrogen and progesterone balance. Because once that gets sorted out, and through your meditation, through your breathing, through your mindfulness technique, if you control your stress level, right, and improve your happiness index, then your FSH, your LH will also be in much better shape. For now, let's understand this. Okay, that's how what changes during your menstrual cycle. Here is one example. I definitely want you to note it down. Okay, what should be the way you should note, because if you keep on noting for 2 to 3 cycles, you would realize whether in what direction are you going, whether your periods are regular, what's the length, what's the flow type, quantity, color, etc., and symptoms and observations. Ideally, you should not have much kind of symptoms. That is when your periods, your healthy indicators of your fertility tool, right? This is a starting point. You should not have any kind of a symptoms like too much of ovulation pain, lot of gas, bloating. But if you have, it should be also mild, because you go through a certain hormonal changes and your body is going through a certain change. You should be much more in the restful during this, and note down your observations also, how you feel. Okay, so this is the sheet that you should fill out every month during your monthly cycle. Let's go to the other fertility tools. Okay, your basal body temperature. Basal body temperature is very good. It's easy to do from your comfort of your home. It helps taking your temperature. Okay, and that's separate page. I will talk about how you should do in terms of precaution. And this BBC, basal body temperature, also can help in pinpointing your ovulation. But you must do for 2 to 3 cycle. Okay, because when it is increases, that means your ovulation has already happened. But you should be tracking just before the ovulation so that you guys are ready for intercourse, right? So that is something BBT will tell you. Ovulation predictor kit, very commonly people use. I strongly recommend people to use for at least 2 to 3 cycle to understand, when actually you ovulate, understand that window. That will help you to plan for your conception. This is, you get it in Amazon also. You can order it and use it. Start checking after 10 days, of your cycle, and at least measure it till 22 days. But if you already know around 14 days you ovulate, you can start from 12 days. Okay. And this is again like you must do before drinking water, preferably the first urine, after you get up, before drinking water. That's what you can use for checking these kits. Cervical mucus monitoring, separately I have one session. Basically, the cervical mucus consistently changes, during your fertile window. Whether it is just a liquid, or it is like egg white, or it's like a stretchy. So all that will, or clear or transparent, so translucent, that will give an idea of your cervical mucus monitoring. And you will be able to pinpoint when actually you're fertile. And that is the time you should use definitely for meeting, having intercourse and planning for the baby. There are a lot of fertile apps and software that also you can use. And fertility monitors, for example, you get it in the over the counter. Some of the ones, they will measure the hormone levels, and also you could be your BBT. But BBT, I would strongly suggest use a thermometer, and you can use it from your home only. I would recommend to go with a BBT and cervical mucus that you can do from home. Then another one is cervical positioning. So what happens during a fertile window, the cervix position changes and it becomes a little softer. It's not as form as another time, because so that it can actually help you, it's for easy penetration. So that will help for that's why the cervix positioning changes. In saliva, because your hormones are changing, so there is a crystallinity pattern that also changes in the saliva during the fertile window. Okay, and of course the sonography ultrasound, very commonly the follicular study that has been done to understand your size of follicles, especially during your ovulation window, how many follicles are actually getting released, etc. To understand. This is, you must do at least for one cycle to understand your quality of eggs. And hormone blood test, I would recommend for holistic approach. I followed, after I did certain BBT measurement, basal body temperature, cervical mucus, and cervical positioning. I realized, every time I would ovulate, my left side, mostly I used to ovulate on my left side, and it would pain. So once I start listening to my body, I definitely did not need any of these tools. My body itself was the tool. And I could exactly tell in what hour I am actually, my egg is releasing. And when I was fertile, when I was ovulating, I will have a very shooting pain. And that is when I would realize, that's the time, that's my ovulation window. I would strongly urge all of you to measure it, you note down it, you track it. It will take definitely 1 to 3 cycle to understand, your health, fertility health. And when we were going through a Six Sigma training in GE and in my office, previous offices, there was very nicely, it was to be one sentence we used to hear a lot. Six Sigma, basically, it's basically what it used to tell, what gets measured gets done. Whether you are doing right thing or wrong thing, whether your outcome is right or wrong, doesn't matter. Just note down, start noting it down. So once you start noting it down, you will see a pattern. If you pay very close attention, you will start to see a pattern. Once you understand the pattern, it's very easy to understand the pattern. I will help you, of course, if you need some help. Then you will figure it out how to address that, right? So that's why what gets measured gets done. And what gets measured also gets managed. For example, something is not right, you will figure a way. You will find a way to manage that. So start measuring your parameters. Extremely important. You might be hearing a lot of words that I keep saying extremely important because they are important. They're very, very easy to do. You don't have to break your head for that. Okay, just start doing. Very, very important routine for getting pregnant. Start your parenthood journey. Extremely important. Start measuring. Okay, so that's your homework, and you will be getting all the tracker sheet. What you can start doing is start noting down and observe. Put your observations in detail. You need minimum 1 to 3 cycle to understand your body. Okay. Thank you. I'll see you in the next session. Wishing you all the best. This is Lakshmi, your wellness friend. I am always there with you for your fertile journey, for your parenthood journey. And I hope you are following all the routines, that all the homeworks that has been given to you with very sincerely. Your discipline and determination will only guide you to achieve your goal. Okay, with a strong mindset. Wish you very best. See you soon.